Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time Formula One world champion, is known for his competitive spirit and intense rivalries on the track. While he's had several intense moments with other drivers, it's important to note that these incidents are often part of the parcel of competitive racing, and they don't necessarily equate to disrespect. In the highly charged and competitive world of Formula One, clashes and disagreements between drivers are not uncommon. Collision with Felipe Massa 2011. During the 2011 Monaco Grand Prix, two Formula One drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Felipe Massa, had a big clash on the racetrack. This race is held on narrow streets in Monte Carlo, making it tough to pass and leading to close racing. The major incident happened during the race when Hamilton tried to pass Massa in a risky move. Unfortunately, their cars touched, causing a crash. Both drivers suffered because Hamilton's car got damaged and Massa's race got messed up. This wasn't the only time they had problems during the race. There were other smaller incidences too. After the race, both drivers were upset because of what happened during the race. Massa was especially mad about the collision and how competitive the race was. They had a heated argument with words and gestures, showing how emotional they were. It's important to know that such incidences are common in Formula One. The sport is all about high-speed racing, fierce competition, and a lot of pressure to win. Drivers can get really worked up in the heat of the moment when they feel like their competitors are being too aggressive. So these arguments and disagreements are part of the sport's competitive nature, where everyone wants to win so badly. Tensions with Nico Rosberg. During the 2014-2015 Formula One season, there was big competition between two drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, who were on the same Mercedes team. This competition became really intense, and people all around the world were watching closely. They had some big clashes on the racetrack, but two of the most memorable ones happened at the 2014 Belgian Grand Prix and the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. At the 2014 Belgian Grand Prix, which took place at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, things got really heated. Both Hamilton and Rosberg were trying to be the best drivers on their team, and the tensions were high. In this particular race, they were both fighting to be in the lead. On the second lap of the race, Rosberg, who was behind Hamilton, tried to pass him, but his attempt was too aggressive, and their cars collided. This crash was a big deal in the Formula One world. It happened at a tricky part of the track called Les Combes Chicane. When Rosberg tried to pass Hamilton on the inside, their cars touched, and Rosberg's front wing hit Hamilton's left rear tire. This caused a puncture for Hamilton and damage to Rosberg's front wing. Both drivers had to go to the pit for repairs, and their chances of winning the race were ruined. The aftermath of the crash was a big deal, too. The bosses of the Mercedes team, led by Toto Wolff, were not happy about it at all. It not only hurt the team's chances of winning the race, but also showed that the tension between the two drivers were getting worse. They even talked about using team orders, which means telling the drivers what to do to avoid such incidences in the future. Hamilton was very upset after the race, and he didn't hide it. He said that Rosberg's move was too aggressive and questioned whether Rosberg cared more about his success than the team's success. This public criticism added more drama to their already intense rivalry. Now, let's fast forward to the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. The rivalry between Hamilton and Rosberg was still going strong. This race happened at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, and once again, both Mercedes drivers were at the center of the big on-track incident. The 2016 Spanish Grand Prix is most remembered for a crash that happened on the first lap of the race. As the two Mercedes cars approached the tight turn, Hamilton was on the inside and Rosberg was on the outside. To defend his position, Rosberg moved to the inside and pushed Hamilton towards the grass. With no space to go, Hamilton's car collided with Rosberg's, and both cars went off the track and into the gravel. The impact was huge, and both drivers had to retire from the race. This was the first time both Mercedes cars had to retire from a race since they came back to Formula One in 2010. The aftermath of this crash was a big deal once again. Both Hamilton and Rosberg lost important points in the championship battle because of it. The Mercedes team's bosses had to deal with the consequences of their two-star drivers crashing into each other once more. After the race, Mercedes had a meeting with Hamilton and Rosberg, and you could feel the tension in the air. The head of the team, Toto Wolff, called the crash brainless and openly criticized both drivers for letting it happen. They even thought about using team orders to prevent more clashes, but in the end, they decided not to do that. Hamilton and Rosberg both said they were responsible for the crash, but it was clear that their relationship was strained. This incident added more complexity to their already complicated rivalry. Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, 2017-2018. During the 2017-2018 Formula One season, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, who drove for Ferrari, were involved in several contentious moments and exchanged words both on and off the racetrack. These verbal exchanges primarily revolved around disagreements related to various incidences that occurred during races. It's important to understand that these interactions were driven by the intense competition inherent in Formula One and were not necessarily acts of outright disrespect. One of the key incidences that fueled the verbal exchanges between Hamilton and Vettel occurred at the 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. During a safety car period in the race, Vettel, who was leading, collided with Hamilton's Mercedes by driving into the back of Hamilton's car. This unexpected contact led to a heated exchange between the two drivers, with Hamilton expressing his frustration over the incident. Vettel, in response, felt that Hamilton had brake tested him, suddenly slowed down, and defended his actions as a reaction to what he perceived as dangerous driving behavior. This disagreement between the two drivers extended beyond the track. In post-race press conference and interviews, both Hamilton and Vettel shared their contrasting views on the incident, with each believing they were not at fault. These discussions often became passionate and animated, reflecting their strong desire to win the championship. The 2018 season also witnessed moments of tension between Hamilton and Vettel. One notable incident occurred during the French Grand Prix when they collided on the opening lap. This incident prompted further discussions and exchanges between the two drivers and their respective teams. Again, both Hamilton and Vettel defended their actions, attributing the collision to racing circumstances rather than personal animosity. Throughout these verbal exchanges, it's crucial to emphasize that both Hamilton and Vettel are highly competitive individuals who were vying for the coveted Formula One World Championship title. Their disagreements were not rooted in personal disrespect, but rather in the fierce competition that defines Formula One. The intense rivalry between the two drivers added excitement and drama to the sport, capturing the attention of fans around the world. 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix. The 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix was a crazy race with lots of surprises. The big moment was when Valtteri Bottas caused a crash on the first lap, which sent Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, two top drivers, spinning off the track. They messed up their chances of winning. After the crash, Hamilton was upset and said that he felt like he was the one who got the worst end of things in the race. He especially didn't like what happened with Verstappen. They crashed into each other when the race restarted after the stoppage. Verstappen tried to pass Hamilton aggressively, and they ended up going off the track and out of the race. This made their rivalry even fiercer, as they were already fighting for the championship. Hamilton's comments after the race showed how competitive Formula One can be. He was frustrated because the race didn't go the way he wanted it to. It's important to remember that Hamilton wasn't attacking Verstappen personally. He was just expressing how tough and emotional races like this can be. In Formula One, drivers are always pushed to the limits, and sometimes things like this collision can happen. Lewis Hamilton's career in Formula One has indeed been marked by intense rivalries and competitive clashes with other drivers. However, it's crucial to view these incidences within the context of the highly charged and competitive nature of the sport. Formula One is a world where drivers are constantly pushing themselves to the limit, and disagreements and on-track incidences are part of the package. If you found this analysis interesting, please like, share, and subscribe to Game On Sports for more engaging content on Formula One and other sports-related topics. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more in-depth insights into the world of sports. Thank you for watching.